You're not my daughter.
I'm Klaus Mikaelson's daughter.
That baby will bring death to us all.
Your baby will bring death to all witches.
Mikaelson may be strong enough to destroy this thing.
Tower.
Calamity.
Famine, flood, fire. That charlatan was right, Vincent. Hope Mikaelson will be our downfall.
You're talking about more power than anyone has ever had.
You see, I'm an apex predator. Nobody hunts me.
From creating Nexus Vortia event at birth to being vastly superior to Freya Mikaelson, one of the most powerful witches of all time at just 7 years old, to contending with gods that are over 10,000 years old at only 19. Just how powerful is Holt Mikaelson compared to everyone in our verse? Is she the most powerful character in the Vampire Diaries universe? But before we go through just how powerful she is, we need to first understand why exactly she is that powerful at a ridiculously young age. To do this, we need to first go through Hope's family and her genealogy. Her father is Klaus Mikaelson, who, other than the enhanced originals or the upgraded originals, is probably the strongest vampire of all time along with Michael, if we're excluding Hope of course. This is due to Klaus being a hybrid of an original vampire and werewolf, and this is important because this is also what Hope became, along with having the power of a witch on top of that, and which is why I believe Klaus's family is actually the ones responsible for the majority of Hope's power, as Klaus was born with a part witch DNA through his matrilineal line, allowing Hope to have the DNA of a vampire, a witch, and a werewolf. Klaus's mother Esther is also one of the most powerful witches of all time, and Hope through Klaus is also related to some of the most powerful beings in the verse, such as her uncles Elijah, Cole, and Finn, who are all original vampires, along with her aunt Rebekah, who is also an original as well. And finally, her other aunt Freya, who, like I said earlier, is one of the most powerful witches of all time. Through Klaus, she is also related to someone considered to be in the top 5 most powerful witches of all time, that being Dahlia, who is an indication of one of the biggest reasons as to why Hope is such a powerful witch, which is that along with the fact she shares Klaus's hybrid nature, Hope is a firstborn Mikaelson witch. This is very important because, as Dahlia explains it,
firstborn witches in this bloodline possess devastating power.
And it seems each generation subsequently gets significantly more powerful, as Dahlia before the slumber spell in base was almost certainly weaker than base Freya currently in Legacies, and base Freya is much weaker than Hope. The difference in power will be important later on. But although a large reason as to why Hope is extremely powerful is due to her being the child of Klaus Mikaelson, it's also important to go through her matrilineal ancestry. Her mother, Haley Marshall, is considered as werewolf royalty, even uniting several werewolf packs on her name alone. This is because Haley along with Hope were the last living member of the Labanere bloodline. This means that Hope along with Haley are the direct descendants of the very first werewolf turn, who happens to be the mother of whom, other than Hope, is considered the most powerful witch of all time and one of the most powerful beings ever, the Hollow. So it's safe to say Hope, even before birth, is destined to be one of the most powerful beings of all time, as her birth united two of the most powerful ancestral bloodlines ever in the entire verse. It's also important to note that Hope is made to be powerful as a weapon of nature against Malivore. She is the only person allowed to be a werewitch, and she's the only person allowed to be a tribrid. Hope's power also likely grows drastically based on her power source. When she was a werewitch, she was more powerful than when she was just a witch, and when she became a tribrid, she became more powerful than what she was as a werewitch. She also, at the moment she becomes a tribrid, she gains the physical strength of an original hybrid, if not stronger. But now we can go into just how powerful of a character Hope is compared to everybody else. There's a bit of a misconception pertaining to Hope having any powerful feats, although yes, Legacies didn't really showcase just how powerful Hope is very well. In the originals, they kind of did. Before Hope even became a werewitch, she quite easily broke Freya's boundary spell to free Marcel when the Hollow's worshippers came into the compound intending on killing Klaus and Marcel. She was also so powerful that she was contending with powerful characters like the Hollow, as she was able to unlink the Venoth from the Hollow, therefore breaking the linking spell casted by the Hollow herself. She did all of this at just 7 years old. Although completing the spell knocks her unconscious, implying that she wasn't yet as powerful or more powerful than the Hollow, it at least means that she was close to the level of power as the Hollow in her resurrected form, which is massive because the Hollow is widely considered at that point to be arguably the most powerful witch of all time, as the Hollow told Elijah that she would kill him if he stands in her way, and seeing as the enchanted forms was already destroyed, she was implying that she was powerful enough to kill originals with just her power alone. This is something that only 2 other witches have been confirmed to be able to do, that being Bonnie on 2 occasions in season 2 after channeling the power of 100 dead witches, and in her current form post season 8 due to the Hellfire fee, and also Freya after she channeled the ancestors and had enough power to avert an even stronger spell with Lucian. This therefore means that Hope at only the age of 7 will be at the very lowest in the top 4 most powerful witches of all time, and 2 of her contenders have been alive for at least 1,000 years and only reached that level of power channeling a buttload of power, and the third one is a grown adult, and Hope is contending with them at just 7 years old in base without drawing from a great power source but herself. But weirdly enough, that's it. That was her most powerful feat done by magic, and it was all the way back when she was only 7 and when she barely practiced her witchcraft. So although it's safe to say that she's a much more powerful witch than she was back then, there really isn't much going for her in terms of feats as far as I can remember. Don't get me wrong, she did some powerful feats later on, like creating a torture device in little time, similar to the Tunis Blade. And with the Tunis Blade, Papa Tune had to channel the depths of every vampire in Marcel's prison garden, and then sacrifice his own soul just to embed it into the weapon to grant it even more power. And Hope replicated the spell without channeling anything. She also took on 20+ witches at the same time using just her magic. But although she hasn't really done anything that could say surpass the feat that she did at only 7, it's still safe to assume that she is a lot more powerful than the Hollow is, as not even her herself knows exactly just how powerful she actually became after she became a tribrid. Like when she was trying to choke out a centuries-old vampire and accidentally beheading him, noting that she didn't even know she could even do that. And seeing as Hope knows exactly how powerful she was before she became a tribrid, and the fact that she had already done a feat that puts her close to the level of the Hollow at just 7, means that due to her not knowing her capabilities, means that she was now drastically more powerful than what she was at the time she performed that spell, therefore meaning that at the point of the ending of Legacies, Hope would have been the most powerful witch of all time. Not to mention, as a being, Alaric stated that after she becomes a tribrid, Hope would hold more power than anyone has ever had. Bear in mind, Alaric would have known about Esther channeling the entire Bennett bloodline to revert all the originals back into humans. He would have also known about Kessia channeling 3 doppelgangers to transfer the anchor for the other side. He would have also known about just how powerful the Hollow was as he actually met her, and also knew about and witnessed Bonnie performing the Hellfire feat. And yet he still believes that Hope would hold more power than anyone has ever had. So yeah, it's almost without a doubt that Hope is by far the most powerful witch of all time. Now in terms of her physical capabilities, Hope is confirmed to be an original hybrid, seeing as she was able to compel vampires, something only originals could do. Hope was also shown quite easily speed blitzing Aurora and easily overpowering her, and was contending with Ken, although Ken was still shown to be superior and also had a weapon that was damaging her. Bear in mind, Ken has the most powerful strength feat in the entire verse, as he was able to pick up a large shipping container with Aurora inside with 4 500-pound sarcophagus, and he flew with it for miles. Hope is also, other than the gods, the most durable character we've ever seen in the entire verse, seeing as she was showing tanking god magic, and even wasn't that damaged after tanking a lightning strike to the face, and even with the physical strength and power of Ken, not even he could kill her without using the Red Oak. And something we know about immortals in general, if you possess no power, you could kill one, but due to the fact that Hope's immortality is so advanced and she's so durable that not a single character in the entire verse has enough power to kill her without the Red Oak. Not even the most powerful being we've ever seen could. So what does all of this mean in terms of Hope's overall power, and where would I rank her? Well, Hope is arguably the second most powerful being that has ever existed. First obviously being Ken, and the reason why I said arguable is because there are other gods and it's uncertain who's stronger between her or Jen, as when they clash, she was not expecting Jen to be that powerful, so she was slightly caught off guard. Also in terms of fighting Hope, if you don't have a hard counter to Hope, for example gods being immune to magic, or you don't possess any hacks that could cause Hope to lose, then your chance of victory against Hope is almost non-existent. Like the only 2 species that even have a chance against beating tribrid Hope are gods and psychics, as psychics can still affect Hope's mind. Every other character will lose relatively quickly against her, as she is one of the fastest and physically strongest character. She will also have one of the fastest reaction times, and she has the best durability in the entire verse, if we're excluding the gods of course. But anyways, if you want to know more about what a tribrid is and every other vampire species, then click the video that's on screen now. And as always, if you like the video, then like, share and subscribe for more.